So after we finish the ratiocination as a class, we're going to move on to the cut and grow activity. So I modeled here what it should look like. I'll explain to the students that they should cut out their circles into individual pieces and lay them out in the same order as they wrote them, as I've done here. Then they're going to go to their first cutout and they're going to make note of the ratiocination edits that they made. So I know that I need to indent, and I highlighted this sentence so I know that I need to rephrase it. So the first thing that they're going to do is rephrase that sentence. And they also know that they need to add a few more supporting details because they should have at least 2 to 3 sentences for the introduction. This student did do a good job of understanding that this belonged in the introductory paragraph though, which is good. Next, you're going to move on to the second sample. So the second excerpt is the first step is the observation. So that is the first step of the scientific method. So that should be the first supporting paragraph. However, they need a few more details. So we're going to leave a little space for them to add some more details. Next, they have that the second step is the analysis of the information, but we know that analysis is actually under interpretation. So we're just going to put this off to the side for now. The next step we know is ask a question, which they don't seem to have. So we're gonna write down on our cut and grow that we need to add a paragraph on ask a question with room to add some supporting details for a solid paragraph on that step. They also don't have a step on form a hypothesis or design and perform an experiment. So they also need to be leaving room for substantial paragraphs on each of those as well. Now, this is why I said you should give the students 2 or even 3 pieces of paper because they need to have plenty of room to do this work and they shouldn't feel restricted. So really, however many pieces of paper that they need. Next, after design and perform an experiment, we know that the next step is to interpret the results, which this student did have a sentence on interpreting the results, but it just isn't enough. And as you remember, they put it as the second step. So we're just going to cross out second step, knowing that we have to fix that, and then leave some room so that they can write more supporting details for that paragraph. Next, after interpret results, they have draw conclusions, which they did have a step for drawing conclusions, but again, they need a little bit more supporting details, and they didn't have a conclusion paragraph, so adding in that conclusion paragraph with enough room for supporting details. Now we're going to go back to what we had left. The students actually had a paragraph on the research section that should have been in the observation stage. They put it as a separate step, which isn't true. So we're just going to cross that out, and we're going to add this research into the observation section of our paper because that's where it belongs. They also had a section on verification or confirmation of the results to make sure if the answers or results are correct. Now, I really wanted to point this out, and you should emphasize to the students that this is a very common misconception because there is no right or wrong answers in an experiment. So this is a great opportunity to demonstrate the fact that it's very easy to just take what you originally wrote and get rid of it. And that's completely okay. That's part of the revision process. So now the students are going to be sent off to do their own cut and grow strategy with their own writing. But for ELLs, to support our ELLs, we're going to have a couple of strategies. One, there'll be a word wall on the board with new vocabulary. I'll be giving oral support to students during the independent cut and grow strategy. I'll also consider giving lower level ELLs a sample copy of an essay to edit so that they can have a clear example to work on revising. And I'll also give ELLs sentence frames and starters for each of the sections of the essay. So for example, the intro paragraph could have a sentence starter such as the scientific method is important because, or we need to follow the steps because. Similarly, I have sentence frames for the body and the conclusion. And so I would actually type these sentence frames and starters out and have copies of them so that they look like little slips like this. And that way students can just easily grab them and insert them into their cut and grow and add to them in writing. So this has been my lesson on the scientific method, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching.